wherever you are, and welcome to Friday Night Breakdown, brother. And I'm here with Jose and Shredder Lives On as we talk about a small good board of wrestling, lots of wrestling topics we need to talk about. It's been a while since we spoke about wrestling, and I've got two of the best guys I could ask for, which is sorry, bloody hell. Sorry, I got some feedback there. So yeah, regarding wrestling, we've got the guys to talk to us about wrestling. So we're going to be talking wrestling. That's enough of me saying the word wrestling. Jose, want to introduce yourself, mate?
I'd like to take this time to personally apologize to Bubba Ray Dudley for us taking time off. How dare we? Guys, what's wrong with us? We have lives. How dare we not devote this time to YouTube shit every single day? I mean, Bubba, we're sorry. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'd like to issue an apology to our over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm sorry, I've not been here. I've been letting you down. I've been taking time off to, spend time with family, do my job. That was an absolute disgrace of me. I can only apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Apology accepted. Yeah, and also no need to apologize either, man. Life comes first, YouTube comes second. That's for sure.
Well, no, it's Bully Ray. We need to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, Bully Ray, we have to. The general rule is you have to apologize to him every time you declare that you want to take time off or do something. You have to apologize to him because God forbid. Oh
Fair
man,
enough, fair.
Can we really say that this is going to be a show about wrestling this week, since it's mostly going to be about sports entertainment?
Yeah, because
I guess,
sports entertainment, brother.
So as we're going on about Bully Ray, let's bring up the topic of Bully Ray. So why are you guys shitting on Bully Ray so much? In more detail, please.
Okay, so John Moxley, he struggles with alcohol and he decided to go to rehab. Very commendable. This is a personal thing. I lost my father due to alcoholism and it fucking sucks. That is something that I don't wish on anybody. If you have a drinking problem, please do all you can to seek help. This shit is no laughing matter. And John Moxley goes away and gets himself together and then comes back. And Bubba Ray with the shitty take saying that, oh, he should apologize to the fans for taking time off, which I'm like, dude, he doesn't know an explanation to us. We all know that he had a problem and he got his shit together. We're happy that he did. I don't see the reason for John to apologize personally.
I mean, the only people that John would really owe, if anything, an apology to, and that would probably be, well, one, anyone he was in the ring with that he potentially endangered while being fucked up. He might decide to issue an apology to them, which would be deserved.
Mm-hmm.
He might want to issue an apology to Tony Khan, because obviously he might feel he's let Tony Khan down. Okay, that one's justifiable. And he may also want to issue an apology to the likes of his wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that they tell you in alcohol programs is, you apologize to the people that you hurt. And in that case, it probably is his wife. His wife has been extremely supportive of him. So I don't know what has been their relationship, what's gone on in their personal lives with John Moxley's issues with alcohol. I can tell you, again, I've got similar background to you, Jose, in the fact that there is a long history of alcohol abuse in my family. Unfortunately, it's one of the it's one of the most well-known things about people from Scotland. People from Scotland like
I didn't want to say that.
Unfortunately, we do have a long history of enjoying too much of a drink. So I've got numerous males on my side of the family who are chronic alcoholics. My biological father, who I've not spoken to in over 15 years now, one of the big reasons that we fell out was because he was a drunk and a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
I've still not forgiven him for a lot of things, not related to his alcohol abuse. But again, that's something that I've had to go through. So I have nothing but respect for Moxley for, going and getting himself cleaned up. I honestly can't take anything away from him for that. The CM Punk promo summed it up. I'm proud of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted he had a problem. He took time off to get himself, cleaned up and get help. He reached out and he asked for help, which is something that, how often have we said that we wish people in the business would have done that? People like, say, for example, Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, but here's Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio, absolutely just shitting all over the guy. Now, you can have, there's some takes you can have about his return. Like, for example, I know Jim Cornette took issue with the fact that he's coming back doing a promo and he's going to go and wrestle first of all for GCW, not AEW. Now, that's maybe something AEW could take exception to, but to shit on the guy and say that he owes an apology to the fans for coming back after getting help, it's horseshit.
Yeah, because he doesn't owe us anything. He owes
Ray.
Yep.
Bully Ray has been in locker rooms all over this business with guys who've been in and out of drug rehab or been out of rehab for alcohol abuse. Now, name one, with the exception of Jeff Hardy, who gave an apology to the fans. And I want to remind people, when Jeff Hardy issued an apology for his stint in rehab, it's because he had to go there because he fucked up a pay-per-view main event and he embarrassed the company.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Victory Road main event against Sting. He apologized for that when he came back. Raven. Did Raven ever apologize or owe an apology to the fans every time he went to drug rehab to try and get himself cleaned up? No. Did Scott Hall issue an apology to fans when he had to go and get himself cleaned up? No. Goldust? No. William Regal? No. The list goes on. Bully Ray has shared a locker room with these guys. Did he ever tell these guys, hey, you owe an apology to the fans?
Yeah, fuck Bully Ray.
Agree.
So why is he singling out Moxley?
Mm-hmm.
Jealous. He almost feels like maybe to a degree that he sees himself in Moxley in a little bit with the Bully Ray gimmick, to a degree. And he's obviously definitely jealous, especially as it behind him.
I think Bully is, and I think you guys will agree. I think Bully has now become the back in my day guy. Like, he constantly talks about like, oh, wrestlers need to go back to having heat and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Dude, I get it, but you got to understand this, Bully. The old days are just that. They're old. They can never come back. Like I know you dream of like having 1999 style heat. We'll never have that again because times have changed. Technology's changed. Everyone knows now that this business is, for a better word, staged. We all know that this is choreographed fighting. You can't buy into real heat anymore for the most part, and that can never come back.
Right, and he's from an era where it was acceptable to throw out homophobic slurs, for example, when you were cutting promos.
Mm-hmm.
You could not get away with that now, and I think rightfully so. Society has definitely moved on since Bubba Ray was cutting promos at likes of Heatwave 99.
Yep,
I agree. Yeah, and it's funny as well because you see someone like John Moxley, how hardcore he is as well, and considering Bubba Ray comes from that hardcore sort of background himself, you would have thought he'd be very much in admiration of John Moxley and try to push him.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he obviously, yeah, you're right. He's a back in my day type of guy.
I mean, I'm no fan of Moxley's in-ring work, but for God's sakes, the man didn't deserve, he didn't deserve that heckler at AEW saying, get that drunken piece of trash out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite glad that AEW left up that entire segment. They may have bleeped out the F word, but they made sure it stayed in, where Moxley told that guy, get the F out of here, get him out of the building.
Yep.
Moxley handled it like a champ.
Yeah.
By the way, he handled it like an absolute champ.
And I'm glad that AEW, to their credit, they are taking some of this stuff quite seriously. I mean, so things like, for example, when Anthony Bowens got a homophobic slur thrown at him, people were yelling the F word at him over and over again because he's gay. Nyla Rose, somebody held up a transphobic sign in the hard cam area saying Nyla Rose is my dad. And obviously the fans, took exception to that, and, security got the guy out the building. So I'm quite glad that there are steps being taken in, trying to maybe clean up the image of pro wrestling in some respects, but also so that, some guys are not getting just absolutely lambasted for things they've got no control over, things that, really are nobody else's goddamn business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, Anthony Bowens is gay, so what? That's no reason to throw a goddamn homophobic slur at him.
Yep.
John Moxley, yeah, he's had a very public issue with alcohol abuse. Why does he have to go to work and put up with people constantly bringing that up?
Yep. The only time that I think a wrestler should apologize to the fans is when they walk out. Like when Stone Cold walked out, he admitted it. I fucked up. I handled it the wrong way. I would have showed up. I probably wouldn't have done the job to Lesnar, but I would have showed up. Mm-hmm. And he publicly apologized to the fans for that. And that was 20 years ago.
Oh, there's other instances where, you know, guys have gone out and apologized to fans or should go out to apologize to fans, and rightfully so. But
Yep.
going and getting yourself medical treatment, you know, if you've got a substance abuse problem, is most
Yeah,
definitely not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, we have a question here from a cousin Cheeto, I believe, and he says, "I have a legit question. When does it become eye rolling, and when it comes to guys like Hardy and Hall who keep relapsing? Not sure. I think he meant to say if Hall is clean now or not. Honestly,
Last I heard, Hall has been relapsing.
It's a tough one with those guys because it's like you want to believe in them to get better, but the thing is they have to want it. You know, they have to be willing to admit, like, okay, yeah, I got a problem. I can't keep fucking up like this. And the thing that you have to ask yourself is, when are you going to hit that epiphany phase? And for some guys, they don't. For some guys, it's like, this is my life. This is the way I'm going to live. And then the next thing you know, they're gone. You know, we still see it. It doesn't happen as often as it used to, but it's still there. So it's kind of hard to really look at Jeff Hardy and Scott Hall and really hope that they get their shit together. And for Scott, I know he's relapsing, but come on, man.
You do hear stories of people coming out of shit. I mean, one person I thought who would be stuck in the bog for the rest of his life would be Jake the Snake Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one person who ended up coming out of it remarkably, and he looked fantastic for it.
Well, again, he's apparently been relapsing a little bit lately as well. But again, that's the thing with addiction. It's never a case of you might always be clean, but there's always the possibility you are going to relapse, because addiction is not something you overcome, very, very easily. It's something that's always going to be with you. Mm-hmm. You remember, for example, if you start getting down or depressed or things start to hurt again, you'll remember, well, I took this and it made me feel good. I didn't hurt anymore. I didn't have to feel. I didn't have to think.
And the thing is, there's only so many times that your body can react to said medication or said alcohol before your body realizes, okay, I've grown so accustomed to this, I can't absorb it anymore because too much of it has been in my system. And it's a tough thing.
Or it's a case of you've become so accustomed to it that you feel you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Or in some cases, you actually probably could get to the stage where your body does depend on it. I mean, look at Lemmy from Motorhead. I mean, Triple H was a huge fan of him. Lemmy was dependent on alcohol and, amphetamines just to get through the day.
Just like Michael Jackson was prone to painkillers ever since he got his hair burned. And that's what happened to Michael. He lived off that shit.
How many wrestlers, have to down, a whole bottle of painkillers just to get through the goddamn day?
Kurt Angle. Yep. He's the first one that comes to mind when I hear that.
Yeah, sorry, just want to say I've met Lemmy. He comes across as a very tall man, but he's not that tall at all.
Yeah.
It was kind of surprising when I met him. Daniel Vance says it's not how many times you fall off the horse, it's how many times you manage to get back up. But if you fall off the horse too many times, then it's too many times, isn't it? You're like, even if you do clean yourself again, then you're more likely to fall off the horse again. It becomes a recurring thing.
True, but you've got to respect the guys that keep trying.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's all about having the accountability and owning it and saying, okay, yeah, I own it, but am I actually willing to put the work in to do better?
Well, as you already mentioned, Sam, Jake Roberts, how many times did that guy try and get himself clean before eventually started working with EDP, and he actually did manage to get himself clean for the most part?
It was more to do with the longevity of how long he did keep himself clean for. And like you see someone like Jeff Hardy, like the guy just, he just never stops. And you think to yourself, especially when you got somebody who's been given the golden goose, so to speak. I've never known anybody whose problems were so open to the public like it was with Jeff Hardy. And yet he kept getting shot after shot after shot. And he kept fucking it up all the bloody time.
You could argue the same thing about Vince's boyfriend, Shawn Michaels, back in the day. Shawn was doing the same shit.
It was a different. Don't get me wrong. I'm not regarding how the WWE looked upon drugs and stuff like that. They look upon it a lot different
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy's time, but after Benoit, you know, the whole game changed. You know what I mean? You know, and they
But
took
a lot
drugs
of the
way more
culture in the
seriously.
locker room didn't.
Yep.
A lot of the
Yeah.
guys still thought it was acceptable to go out to the ring completely pilled up.
No,
I mean,
I'm not. I'm just saying that Jeff Hardy, though, he was more of an established wrestler who won the WWE title and could have been the face of the company for a while. He's a charismatic guy, good-looking guy, popular with everybody, men and women. He was a good person to market, and he just couldn't keep himself clean, unfortunately.
Yep.
well, no,
And
yeah, because he got
yeah,
fired on multiple occasions because of his drug use. Look at
yeah,
2002, I think, was the first time.
Yeah. When
And
Jeff
this
Hardy got
this was
fired.
when they were really intent on pushing him because he'd had that match on Raw with the Undertaker. They were putting him in like semi-main event matches, and then boom, he's gone because he fails he fails a wellness test.
I think the last thing he did was work with The Rock, and then I think Rock beat him, and then I think that was probably it for Jeff Hardy, and we didn't see him again for about 3 years in WWE. He went to TNA, and
Where TNA has no drug testing policy.
nope.
yeah, exactly. But they wouldn't let him wrestle a match though while he was heavily intoxicated. Well, Sting obviously didn't want to wrestle him in that famous match at Victory Road. So
Well, it wasn't even so
But
much
yeah.
Sting didn't want to wrestle him. It was the fact that Bischoff had watched him walk past and he saw how fucked up he was.
Yep.
I just remember Bishop as well. Like you could tell he's just winging it as he's
Yep.
trying to.
Yeah, well, he was the only guy there. A lot of the agents had already left.
Because the show was over. They're like, all right, we got to get the hell out of here. We're trying to get last ditch room service before the hotel closes. And yep, I think it was Bischoff.
It's unfortunate Bischoff carried the can for that. It really should have been Dixie Carter.
Yep. It's on them for not finding a replacement. And let's see, I think TNA pay-per-views were $35, and I don't even know if they had to reimburse their audience.
They didn't. What they did was anybody who got the pay-per-view got a make good, which was 3 months free service to their online on-demand service.
This was also post Hogan era, wasn't it?
No, he was still there.
Hogan was still there.
Sorry, but this was during that. So basically,
this was during the Hogan Bischoff era.
Of course it was. But Bischoff was there. But she basically invited like the king of the fucking junkies anyway in Hulk Hogan, and and his entourage of fucking steroid freaks and fucking overweight, over the hill fucktards. It was game over pretty much. You know, like it was anything go. It was like old school WWE after that. It was like party time. Yeah, very unfortunate. And it's you know it's. We kind of got on a bit of a tangent here because we were initially talking about Bubba Ray Dudley, and we've ended up here. But yeah, that's how it goes, unfortunately. I think the good thing is though, at least it seems that this current generation of wrestlers are not like their predecessors. You know, they're not into fucking popping pills and getting drunk and getting high and stuff like that. Thank God for video games. That's all I have to say.
Yep, video games are saving lives.
Yeah, I mean
Exactly.
that entire locker room rallied around John Moxley,
and
deservedly so.
Yep.
Yeah, John Moxley is a throwback of yesteryear, I guess. You know, there's always going to be one. I mean, not everyone's going to be totally clean. You're always going to get one or two, I guess.
And he looks 10 years younger too. He looks 10 years younger.
Well, it's not just that, Zam. If you think about it, pro wrestling it takes a massive toll on the human body. So, a lot of people are going to turn to things like alcohol or painkillers or other hard drugs. It's self-medication. It's them trying to cope with the pain that they're putting their body through night in, night out. And including in Moxley's part, remember, he's doing things like deathmatch wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Absolutely crazy. And he wants to bring that into AEW. Do you think he'll succeed? I mean, he's kind of succeeding to a degree.
It's got a shelf life.
Yeah, it's got a very, very limited shelf life. I think they tested the waters by bringing in Nick Gage. It's not worked out for them, especially with the controversy with Domino's Pizza. I don't think it's going to be brought in for anything more than 1 or 2 matches a year.
Yeah.
I think that's, if anything, that's about as acceptable as it can be. So all right. So what's next on this list of things you guys want to talk about?
Let's see. Okay, Mustafa Ali wants to get the fuck out. Mustafa Ali is another disgruntled wrestler because they've done
Saudi Arabian guy, yeah.
What? Yeah, I think he's Arabian.
He's American.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's the one. He's the one who keeps winning like the matches every time they go to Saudi Arabia.
No, that's Mansoor.
No. Yep.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. There you go.
Ali's one of those cruiserweight type of dudes, and he's like dissatisfied with his position. He's unhappy, and it's like Mick Foley said in one of his videos, WWE, we got a problem. WWE's not the place that people want to work at anymore. And Ali wants to get the fuck out, and WWE's like, no, sir. Because they know that he would get over in AEW. That's why they won't let him go. Because they see money in him.
I'm surprised they still haven't turned him into a terrorist yet.
Well, that's the big question, because one of the reasons he wanted to get his release was supposedly Vince and him got into a heated argument about something that Ali said he would never do. So I would really love to hear from Ali himself about what this was. Was this going to be Muhammad Hassan 2.0? There was an interesting vignette. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a planned angle where Ali was going to be... I think he was still going to be a heel, but the idea was that he was going to be the face of a new America.
Okay, I see where they're going with that.
Yeah, where he said where your name is the one that's hard to pronounce, not mine.
Yeah,
where you're the minority, not me.
Oh gosh, I could just also imagine Vince thinking to himself,
the thing is, that idea was Ali's. That idea for the new America was Ali's.
I don't mind that too much if he's going down the heel aspect, but Vince himself, though, he'll see a couple of black guys. Okay, you guys are in the hood. Latino guys, you're either fucking cutting lawn or fucking stealing shit, or something like that. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, you Arabian? All right, fucking terrorist.
Every time I think of Hispanics in WWE, I think of the Mexicools and the sign of Eddie mows my lawn, the most racist shit ever that Vince did in like the mid 2000s. I was like, wow.
Well, hang on. What was that more or less offensive than having Chavo Guerrero repackaged as
Scarlet White? Yeah, I remember that too. I was like, wow. Yeah, back then they gave no fucks. Oh man,
it's not just that, but like someone like who's an established guy like Tito Santana, you don't need to make him the Matador.
Matador, yeah.
You don't need. He's Tito fucking Santana. That's good enough. You know what I mean? He's one of the guys who started it all within the WWE, and you repackage him like that is fucking ridiculous.
Yep, it's crazy too because the guy that played Muhammad Hassan is nowhere fucking near Arab American. He's completely Italian. American. Yep. He is he and Daivari. Yeah, he and Daivari both are no fucking where near Arab American. Both of them. They're like, nope.
Daivari.
Daivari, I don't.
Daivari's background because I know he speaks
Canadian.
He speaks Farsi, but yeah, I don't know if he. I don't know if he's
Iranian though.
Might be
Canadian.
Actually, I think he is Iranian American.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay.
Because didn't they do a thing with his brother?
Yeah, I'll have to do my research on this.
In Saudi Arabia, they did a thing with his brother where they both came out and motherfucked Saudi Arabia and praising Iran.
Yeah, but Ali wants to go, and Vince is like, no, pal, we're not letting you go. So they're going to job him out and make him worth nada.
But you would think with all the people they released, Ali would probably be granted it.
All he has to do is start a Twitch channel. That'll piss Vince off enough.
I know that a lot of the guys in the locker room were really upset when they heard that Ali wanted to leave because he's well liked, and apparently, he's a student of the game and he's really creative. He comes up with idea after idea after idea, and he's pitching even ideas for other guys, which they're taking and using.
And they don't like that when they do that because, God damn it, we have 30 writers. We need to be able to do this.
Yeah, 30 writers, and they take Walter. They take Walter of all goddamn people. They repackage him with the name of a Nazi.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the only thing that's come as a shock to me is the fact that Imperium are not coming out in lederhosen with beer steins.
And people, I saw the outrage on Twitter where I know we're going on a tangent, but this is what we do on Friday Night Breakdown. We go on tangents. Fucking Walter people got pissed off. I'm like, are you guys new? Like, you do realize who runs the show now. Vince runs this shit. Bruce runs this shit. This is not the first time they've done crazy offensive gimmicks and shit.
So
and this won't be the last.
So for the NXT title, we could either have Rex Steiner versus Walter or Braun Breaker versus Gunter.
We're going to do Braun Breaker versus Gunter because it's 1984, and I've never gotten out of 1984. God damn it!
But back on the topic of Ali, again, I really want to know what the hell it was that he and Vince got in an argument over.
Well, I think the fact that because he wants to leave as well, it's all psychological. He wants to leave, Vince won't let him. If you got a better life, that's why. If he wants to leave, it means that things are good for him outside the WWE. Vince doesn't want that. He's a cunt. Remember that. So, he would rather let him stay and rot and lose his opportunity, whatever that may be, than release him. Even though he's been releasing people left, right, and center.
They're going to do probably a combination of three things. 1, not put him on TV and only put him on house shows. 2, job him the fuck out. 3, when they release him, NDA his ass to no fucking end. You cannot talk about this, that, or the other if we let your ass go.
Yeah.
And they will probably do all three of those things to him.
I completely agree.
So this gentleman here, Cousin Cheeto, he says that he finds the headbangers that they were offensive as far as he's concerned. And why would you find the headbangers
offensive?
Why? Because they wore skirts?
Because they didn't play fucking NSYNC music and stuff like that. So
I honestly don't know what about the headbangers gimmick was offensive.
I think he's doing one of his dad jokes.
Yeah,
he's trying to do a dad joke, and we just haven't cottoned on to it. So anyway, okay. So Mustafa Ali. Do you think he'll move to AEW eventually?
If they don't make his worth, if they don't drop his stock too fucking much, which knowing WWE, they'll do everything they can to drop the stock. They were bald. What's wrong with that? You got a problem with bald people? You bastard?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure if he's. I'm really not sure if he's going to wind up in AEW because this is probably something we'll get onto with the WWE releases.
We'll go there next.
How much talent can AEW actually absorb?
How much money is Daddy? How much money is Daddy willing to? How much money is Daddy willing to fund the kid? That's what we really need to know.
I did think of an idea for how they could use some of this extra talent, but again, the question is just how much would Tony Khan be willing to do, and how much space does he have on his roster?
Yeah. Okay, so going on to our next topic, all these WWE releases. Jesus.
We weren't on last week when we really could have gone into this in depth because the big one was probably William Regal. That one was the massive shock to everybody.
That's when I knew the original NXT was good and fucking dead. I'm like, you let Regal go, it's over. It's over. Go ahead and kill the brand now. Let it die. Black and gold does not exist anymore. We've gone to 1995 with the neon colors and shit. Wow, William Regal.
Because they fired not just William Regal, they fired Scott Armstrong, who was working as a referee.
Yep.
They fired Road Dogg, who was an agent for them. They fired Samoa Joe, who was working for them as a trainer while he was out injured. And they fired Timothy Thatcher, who was not only an in-ring talent, but working for them as a trainer.
Yep. And here's what you guys may not also know. They're disappointed with the first 4 months of NXT 2.0. Gee, I fucking wonder why. Yeah. I wonder fucking why. They're pissed off about that.
Another name that they released too was Gabe Sapolsky.
How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you fuck this much talent up? How do you release almost 200 wrestlers within a 2-year period? How do you do that?
Well, in some respects, I think it was probably because initially, if you remember, Vince was just signing guys left and right to stop Tony Khan and AEW getting them.
Yep.
And for a brief period, I would say it probably worked. I mean, that's why you had AEW for a time featuring guys like Joey Janela, featuring guys like Sonny Kiss, featuring, guys who really shouldn't have even got out of wrestling school. And well, in Janela's case, he never even attended wrestling school. You know, guys who pretty much had no talent, and to the point where some of them haven't been on TV for over a year.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be an impromptu segue too, but after WWE releases, AEW releases, because we're going to have to talk about that shit at some point.
Well, AEW, I think, is
releases
going to be a
finally.
case. No, he's not been issuing releases. In fact, the only way you get released really is if you do something really heinous, like a Jimmy Havoc.
You get fired.
But the only two people I can think of who had been outright fired by AEW, one was Jimmy Havoc because of the speaking out allegations that came out against him. And the other one was Ivelisse Velez because she apparently got into an altercation with Thunder Rosa. They also had a match on TV where Ivelisse no-sold Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, that'll get you fired.
Yeah, made a mockery out of the business. So they fired her for that.
But with all these WWE releases, okay, so you release all together, I'm going to say just for a safety number, I know I'm wrong, but I'm going to say around 185. I would say in total over the past 2 years if you accumulate everything. Out of the biggest names, Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and Keith Lee and Karrion Kross. What the fuck are they thinking about? That's what I seriously wonder. Like, what's your goal here? What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to deplete your roster so much in this way? Because you're pretty much now relying on Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and they can only be around for so long. Brock is probably going to be on his way out, give or take another couple of years anyway.
And Brock doesn't work full time.
Nope. Roman's only got so long before he decides to say, fuck this, I'm out, because of who he's related to, and Rocky can probably find a good spot for him doing cameos in Hollywood and shit. So I don't know. I'm kind of
baffled. I don't think you have
by
a Hollywood career, by the way, in my opinion. I'm the only one who's I'm the only one who thinks that Roman. People think that he's going to be like Cena and Rock and Batista. I don't think so. I don't think so.
You're in the minority, my friend, but that's okay. Yeah.
I've got a feeling, give it 5-6 years, Roman Reigns will be doing action movies.
Mm-hmm. He'll be doing something. Okay. He'll be doing something.
No, don't get me wrong. When I say like Hollywood, I mean like the level of Hollywood that his three predecessors are on. Rock, Cena, and Batista are like doing A-list Hollywood stuff. Roman Reigns is going to be doing direct-to-DVD shit, if anything, in my opinion.
He'll get somewhere. He'll get somewhere. One way or the other, Roman is going to go somewhere.
I think we've got a couple of big roles to start with, even if it's working just for Rock's company, $7 Productions or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or $7 Studio, whatever the hell it's called.
Yep. But okay, with all these WWE releases, they're letting guys go left and right. And going into our next fucking topic, kind of intertwining them, the Royal Rumble.
Well, no. Well, let's stick with the WWE releases because that's the thing. Again, AEW can only take on board so much.
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor has had to go on hiatus. MLW is a glorified indie, and they're trying to sue WWE. That's something we should probably discuss too at some point.
Yeah.
But where can guys go? Because Tony Khan can only absorb so many contracts. His roster is already bloated to the point where, and he's not releasing people. Again, you only get released if you really fuck up. A Big Swole, apparently it was a case that they decided not to renew her contract because, well, let's be honest, she was fucking rotten.
And Tony had to fuck it all up. Tony had to Tony had to open his fucking mouth and just did not think before speaking. Japan, they're going to do what they do. Japan is Japan.
Yeah, Japan is looking for certain talent, certain kind of in-ring workers, and also you need to remember as well, international travel is not really an option for a lot of guys, for places like Japan and Mexico because of COVID.
Yep. And I don't know how it is for you guys over there in the UK and Scotland and shit like that, how the wrestling scene is. But I know over there, NXT UK is probably going to go bye-bye, give or take, some time.
I mean, maybe you can correct me on this, Shredder, but there is nothing on the level of AEW and WWE or even TNA out in the United Kingdom at the moment. I mean, it's nothing glamorous.
We have a couple of decent-sized indie promotions. There's a few small. There's quite a few small independent promotions out there in the UK.
Okay.
The biggest ones are probably ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, based in Glasgow, and Progress Wrestling, which I think is based in Oh God, I think I want to say London.
Yeah, didn't WWE get the rights to both those shows for their archival footage?
It's not that the rights to them; they actually have deals in place with them that ICW is still running,
Oh,
and
okay.
they provide content to the WWE network,
Oh,
and I think it's the same with Progress Wrestling as well.
Sure. What I want to ask you though is like the sort of contracts, the sort of money these guys are earning, like they're earning like over $100,000 a year.
Oh,
Working
you
for
couldn't do that in the
WWE.
Indies here.
Yeah. I mean, how much are you looking to earn in the Indies?
Oh God, not a hell of a lot. Let's be honest. NXT was primarily set up to kill one promotion, and that was World of Sport.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
And here in the States, I think the most you could get away with, if you're lucky, if you got a big enough name, is maybe $5,000 per appearance. But that's pretty big money for an indie taking.
I mean, as I said, there was World of Sport on ITV. NXT killed that. They just outdrew them and outperformed them really in the television side of it as well. I mean, if you watched any of those World of Sport tapings, I mean, Christ, they were awful. There was a promotion at one point, it was called 5 Star, which was throwing around insane money. They were getting some guys off the indie circuit, but they were also getting some ex-WWE talent to show up for them as well. Unfortunately, they fucked up a deal for, I think it was Preston City Wrestling, who were trying to get on television in this country. They were getting a deal in place with, there was a television channel they were going to, I think it might have, what the hell channel was it again? Oh God, I can't remember which channel it was, but they were going on to one of the cable channels here in the UK.
It'll come back to
network.
They had Preston City Wrestling. They had set up a deal to go onto a cable channel in the UK. 5 Star, unfortunately, screwed that up because what they did, they threw a bunch of money. They got guys to show up for like one shots, so people like AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam, and a whole bunch of other ex-WWE talent. They get them to show up for this one and done show. With the exception of, I think, maybe John Morrison, who was carrying their world title.
Yeah, because he was a world champion down there, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was 5 stars world champion at one point, and they say, hey, look, we've got all this ex-WWE talent to a bunch of TV executives that don't know any better. They don't know that Preston City Wrestling is a solid promotion that has been running fairly, one, consistently good cards, but it's also been running within a proper budget for a number of years now. These TV executives don't know any better, and they decide they're going to give 5 Star the TV deal. And unfortunately, 5 Star winds up going out of business, owing a lot of people a lot of money,
of which they'll never see.
Yeah, and these were the idiots that were saying they had $1 million to give CM Punk.
So, a gentleman by the name of Ginger Greek says,
I think it was Challenge, actually. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Challenge. Okay.
I think it was Challenge TV that were going to do the deal with Preston City Wrestling, and instead they took on board 5 Star. And again, 5 Star went bust after, I think, 4 shows?
Yeah, sounds about right, because I remember people were like, oh yeah, here in the States, they were like, oh yeah, this 5 Star promotion is going to blow up, and it went over like a fart in church.
They did a TV taping for a show on Channel 5. Quite close to me, actually. It was in a city called Dundee, which is about I want to say about a 30-minute drive from where I am. And the local promotion there, with I think just one ex TNA talent on the card, outdrew them.
Wow.
They were running an ice hockey arena. 5 Star were running an ice hockey arena. They had Drew McIntyre, they had Nick Aldis, they had Rey Mysterio, they had John Morrison, and a few other ex-WWE guys. And yet here's Scottish Wrestling Entertainment, based in Dundee, runs their local promotion. They run their local arena that they usually do. I think the only the only big name that they had on the card was Abyss, and they outdrew.
We have a cousin Cheeto here. He says, if WWE falls, would you like to see an AEW versus TNA type Monday Night Wars?
Oh, yeah, that was one of the forgotten topics we were going to talk about. When Vince McMahon croaks.
We'll get to that in a second.
We'll get to that.
One more thing. Remember,
we'll get there.
That Preston and 5 Star.
Right, so Ginger Greek can back me up on this. That 5 Star fucked Preston out of a TV deal. But yeah, again, how much can AEW really take from WWE's roster? I mean, I would say immediately go get Scott Armstrong for your refereeing, go get William Regal, go get Samoa Joe and Timothy Thatcher, because you want those guys. If they can't wrestle, get them as trainers.
Okay,
And I
for
would
me,
say get Sapolsky.
yep. And then let's see, out of the, I don't know if you can really call them recent, but out of the massive cuts, go get Keith Lee, go get Killer Cross, and go get Bray Wyatt. Assuming Bray wants to come back into wrestling, which I don't know, because I heard he wants to step into movies, but I don't know.
We'll see.
Bray Wyatt.
In all honesty, if I was Tony Khan, I would be looking at hiring Gabe Sapolsky and funding an indie promotion for him to, not only so you can find new talent, but also so that you can circulate guys out of the roster every once in a while.
Yeah, farming system. That's
Exactly.
what we need. Yeah, there needs to be more farming systems.
You need a feeder system. Gabe Sapolsky is a hell of a talent scout. If you get William Regal, for Christ's sake,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best talent scouts out there.
Yep, and I heard Joe was, I think, even training to be in that role too, because Joe was also scouting guys. Like he was, I think, specifically looking for like big guys like his size, because I think that's what Vince wanted more of, was like more big hefty dudes in NXT, because that's what he loves so much. Yep.
Yeah.
So he'd probably be looking at somebody like a Shane Taylor.
He loves big sweaty men.
Yeah. Exactly.
But with all these releases, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, there's 185 guys, give or take. Oh man, and then kind of segueing.
Not just that. Remember, you've got the whole ROH roster.
Yeah,
getting released from the contract.
And then kind of segueing. Okay, WWE. I think Shredder, you could take this next portion of the topic because you wanted to talk about the Royal Rumble.
Yes,
but I got to clean up.
All right.
All right. Well, there's birds crapped everywhere, I presume. But the Royal Rumble is coming up, and WWE, in their short-sightedness, released so many female talent, and I've got so many out on the shelf either on injury or paternity leave. They've had to look elsewhere to get women to compete in the Royal Rumble. 9 of the entries so far look like they're going to be from outside of WWE. So they're bringing back Leah. They're bringing back Summer Rae, Melina. Christ, who the hell the other ones?
Undertaker's wife.
Kelly, Michelle McCool. They're getting brought back, and they're also bringing in Mickie James. They even acknowledged on TV Mickie James is the Knockout Women's Champion. Well, the Impact Knockouts Champion.
Oh,
and you want to know the sad
thing? I love this.
And you want to know the sad thing? I guarantee you, like literally the week after this airs, no one will give a fuck about it.
Yep.
Because that's the thing about the Women Royal Rumble. I mean, not to be sexist, but it's like we were having a conversation, Zam and I, about like this wokeness type of shit. And we're like, okay, we get it. We know WWE that you guys love to do like this first time ever shit. They live for that. But are we still talking about this shit like years later? Fuck no. Like, no one's going to be talking about like Sasha Banks and Charlotte main eventing Raw. I barely remember when they did that shit.
Well, I think they're. I actually agree with the whole idea of doing a women's Royal Rumble, but the thing is, if you're stupid enough to release that many women on your roster, so you've released the likes of Ember Moon, you know, is there a point of doing one this year when you're having to call in a third of that entire matchup from outside your company?
And my thing is, I don't have an issue with it, but make it fucking mean something. That's the problem with the Women's Royal Rumble.
If 1/3 of the competitors are just there to make up the numbers, then it's going to be bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, they were better off making it a 20 women's Royal Rumble, in my opinion.
Historically, look how much the men's Royal Rumble was crapped all over when they brought in just guys from AAA and nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, I remember that 1997. That was the one when they were having audio problems, and I think you heard the commentary in Spanish half the time because they couldn't figure it the fuck out. Yeah, it was for real. It was a problem. But they brought in like God, who the fuck did they get? Paraguay Senior, I think, was one of the competitors in that Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Mascaras was one.
Yeah, Mascara, and he eliminated himself. He took himself out of the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Or you had that Rumble the year where they created the Shawn Michaels rule, where only one of his feet touched the floor. Everyone remembers that the finish was Shawn Michaels and Davey Boy. What nobody remembers is just how fucking devoid of star power that Rumble was.
I know there was like mainly, God, somebody will correct me out there. There was probably about 26 or 27 legit jobbers in that Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I actually watched that Royal Rumble, by the way.
Yeah,
I remember watching that one, and Davey Boy and Shawn, they were 1 and 2, weren't they?
Yep.
And they ended up as the last two. Yeah, I was absolutely furious that because it's my boy in it, Davey Boy, British wrestler and all of that. I was so gutted. That's before I realized about kayfabe and all of that.
And then
I was absolutely gutted,
and then I don't know who has the worst jackknife, because Diesel gave Shawn Michaels arguably the worst fucking jackknife at WrestleMania 11. He goes to jackknife him, and Shawn lands on his feet and then falls back. And then the next night, Vince he's like, oh, we have to cut to a commercial. And fucking Psycho Sid jackknife Shawn Michaels, and it just looks all fucking weird. And I'm like, what the fuck did Shawn do? Like, Shawn took 2 of the worst jackknives in a 24-hour span. It looked horrible.
Because I think Nash said that Shawn deliberately sabotaged that.
Yeah, he did. Like, he fucking went ass backwards. I still laugh at that finish. I'm like, oh, man. But then again,
still friends after that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
But yeah, you deplete the fucking roster and this Women's Royal Rumble. You bring in Mickie James. We're not going to give a fuck about it the week after it happens, because WWE is going to brush it under the rug. Like, we're
the first time they've actually acknowledged Impact as a promotion.
Yep.
Well, with the exception of shows like, for example, what was it, Livewire that Josh Matthews used to host?
Yeah, and they acknowledged WCW.
They acknowledged TNA when, because people used to call in and talk about TNA, and Josh Matthews would
Todd Grisham. Grisham. That's who you're thinking of.
Sorry.
Yep. Todd Grisham. And then go ahead, Sam.
Sorry, there was that famous time where Cena was threatening to leave, and he said the word brother. And that was obviously, mentioning TNA because Hulk Hogan was there at the time.
Stone Cold mentioned it on this. Stone Cold mentioned it again on Vince with this podcast, and he said, like, "Oh, all due respect to those guys in TNA," and I'm like, "We know you fucking know they exist. We know this."
Yeah.
Again, on mainstream WWE programming, though,
this is the first time they've done it on mainstream.
Maybe no, I think the second time, because Kurt Angle.
With the Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn, or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
He says, "I'm not looking for right now, but I hear TNA's hiring."
Yeah.
you know what I couldn't believe. So just to go on a little bit of a tangent here, when Jeff Jarrett was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he never mentioned TNA once in his speech.
Nope.
I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, that was unbelievable. That was not mentioned once in his Hall of Fame speech.
They did do a table for 3 with AJ Styles and Sting, though. It actually turned out to be a pretty good episode.
Yeah, because they spoke about TNA a lot. And
they had to. I mean, those
Ric Flair buried it on Legends of the Ring Roundtable.
Yeah, he buried it, and he was like, and you want to know the ironic thing?
What is
this was
TNA?
Before? Yeah, this was the year before he signed with them. Yeah. That was hilarious.
and for me, one of the most famous things he did in TNA was his woo-off.
With Jay Lethal. That was great.
That was awesome. And Jay Lethal's impersonation of him was fantastic.
Do you know it's another company that Jeff Jarrett didn't mention in his Hall of Fame speech?
GFW?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they don't exist. Or do they exist? We don't know.
He didn't mention GFW, and he didn't mention his gold shilling program.
Do you think that he was told by Vince not to mention TNA in his
without a doubt.
That's just a disgrace, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's why I don't give a damn about the Hall of Fame when it comes to that level of interruption by the owner. It's
I will admit though, in 1997, when like Brett was going to go to WCW and JR and the King openly said like WCW exists, I shit my pants the first time that they mentioned it, because I'm like, holy shit, they mentioned WCW. Like, as a 9-year-old, I was like, wow. They fucking they openly mentioned Ted Turner and his organization, and the fact that Brett was going to go there, because they basically gave it away that he was going there.
unlike their competitors who always mentions the WWE never like to mention their competitors. And so it was always fascinating when they did. Cousin Cheeto says that he loves Jay Letho's Macho Man impersonation.
Oh, Black Machismo. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yes, that was awesome. You know, it would be nice to see Jay Lethal just be Jay Lethal, though, without him being a fucking like
Well,
Charlie
you
Haas.
got that in Ring of Honor, you're getting that in AEW now.
Yeah.
Well, but
After
by the way, I love
weeks
Charlie Haas
of
doing-
absence, you're getting it now.
when Charlie Haas was doing impersonations of wrestlers, that was probably the best time for me regarding him. But
I
yeah,
take it you
but
weren't
Jay
a
Lethal
fan
was
of
a lot
Wrestling's
better.
Greatest Tag Team.
No. As an individual.
Oh,
Obviously, you know, as most tag teams, one person is destined to go very far, whilst the other isn't. And even though Shelton Benjamin didn't go far enough,
Marty.
Charlie Haas was kind of lost in the mix. Yeah,
Marty Jannetty.
but but
I can't get this goddamn. I can't get this goddamn cough out of my throat, Marty.
I always thought Charlie Haas was a very talented wrestler. So you know, it's good to see him like having some fun with these gimmicks and stuff like that. It was just something, at least, you know, better than nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone off tangent beyond belief.
And we ain't done yet. We still got shit to talk about.
Oh, there's plenty we could talk about. Again, there's the MLW WWE lawsuit. You want to talk about what's going to happen when Vince croaks?
Yeah, for me, it's what Vince croaks. When Vince dies, that's when they're going to sell. Because I agree with Zam. I don't think they're going to sell while he's alive, but when he's dead, it's over. That's
it's
what I
believe. Day is not Day. It's him. He won't sell.
Yeah.
You know, we were discussing this earlier that, you know, you think that Vince is going to sell. Vince will never sell. He is too much of a power freak to want to sell. Yeah, he's got this asset, which is the WWE. He wants to hold on to it. He wants to be in control of people at the same time as well. He wants to be in charge. If he loses that, then he's got nothing. You know what I mean? When they lose money, he sells that.
And you also have to.
He's got more money than anything.
And you also have to consider what I said. I deliberately think Vince is taking as much of this with him as he can. He's trying to do so much to fuck this up and make it like, I'm going to fuck up my brand so much so that my kids will not know what the fuck to do with this when I'm dead and gone.
I'm going to go around Titan Tower and impersonate Chris Benoit.
Nowadays,
if Vince comes in the Titan Towers with a stack of Bibles, run.
Yeah, run away. Run the fuck away. But yeah, when Vince goes, he's taking it with him. He's doing as much damage as he can to fuck this up. Because they can't even get 2 million. They can't even get to 2 million views here in the States. I don't know how it is overseas, but here they can't do fucking half the numbers they used to do. It's so bad.
It is still quite popular with younger people, I believe.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Well, yeah, because WWE still caters to children.
Yeah, when you tell a kid to like something, they're going to fucking like it. 9 times out of 10, anyway.
I watch football podcasts, and there's one guy called Expressions, and he just constantly going on about he uses wrestling reference. You know, he's quite lyrically sound, and he likes using wrestling references for all types of things. You know, calling certain people actual wrestlers. Like he calls this one guy called DT, who was famous. Who recently went to jail for kidnapping his girlfriend. He likes calling him Eric Rowan for some reason, you know, and and all of that. But nevertheless, he just seems to be still reasonably popular with younger people here in the UK. But I do feel its light is starting to fade away, which is unfortunate. But it's what Vince has done with wrestling. He's bought all the territories. Wrestling is not what it once was, with only a couple of promotions.
And like I said with the Bully Ray thing that we talked about earlier, because I know people still long for like the old days. They're like, oh, we want attitude, we want this, we want that. It's never going to go back to what it used to be. Never, ever, ever.
The closest thing you probably got was Ring of Honor, and sense that it was more aimed to an adult audience. It wasn't insulting anybody's intelligence. It was there putting on hard-hitting matches, sort of like in a pro wrestling hybrid MMA style.
Mm-hmm. And this is around the time UFC was taken off, because I do remember that. But yeah, I think, like I always say, I think wrestling is at its end game. I think what's going to happen is eventually you will see it relegated to the internet. I think that's where it's going. I don't see it being a mainstream TV thing. Well, other than for
Well, we're not going to have big arenas as well. Like you know
no,
where they did the Thunderdome. Well, what was that name of that place? The
yeah,
developmental center. That's where it's going to be
performance
now. They're
center.
not going to go
Yeah,
on. They're not going to go on tour all over the country. They'll expect people to come to them, and it'll be just a lot cheaper that way as well, and save money on productions and costs and stuff like
it'll
that.
be.
That was TNA's business model for years. I mean, the Impact Zone.
Yeah, they never went on the road.
As well.
Yep,
WCW did that as well. With him running out of what was it, Universal or Disney?
Yep, soundstage. And speaking
Yeah.
of, Block said that who's going to buy it? NBC. NBC is going to buy them. It won't be. Shit. I know. Sony
$70 billion to throw at Activision. We may as well throw about $1 billion to get
Sony is so pissed off right now. I know. We're going on a side tangent. Take a fucking drink, guys. Take a fucking drink.
Disney are going to buy them.
No, they're not. No.
Well, I'm just going to go with Disney anyway, just for the sake of it.
Okay, you go with Disney. I'm going with NBC. We'll see who's right. Yeah, okay. Side tangent. Can you imagine how fucking mad Sony is right now? Sony's got to be seething. They're like, God damn it. Microsoft bought another fucking studio. What are we going to do?
They're lucky they've got some really good, titles on their platform.
Yeah.
Even then, they have to improve on those things. They can only go so far.
I think we're going to see the end of console gaming. Give it another generation or two. Everything's going to PC within the next probably 20 years.
Well, you've got things like Stadia and stuff. They're just going to improve on that and let people do joypad gaming on their PCs.
Yep.
So to speak. I play a few games. I've played Assassin's Creed Valhalla and a golf game on Stadia.
Yeah.
All right. But I hardly use my fucking PS5, by the way.
I know. I've had mine since launch, and I use the fucking thing, but I use my Series X a lot more. Game Pass is kicking ass right now.
Will either of you be taking the risk of getting the next WWE 2K game?
Oh yeah, we could talk about that. Okay, I need to go on a rant here. Why the fuck would you people, you fanboys, spend $120 to play as the NWO? Guys that you played as 8 fucking years ago when 2K14 came out. Why would you do that? Why would you spend $120 for Hulk Hogan, X-Pac, yeah, for the NWO edition
version I've seen.
Yeah, yes, it is. Well, here in the States it is, but I know overseas.
No. There's a $220 version where you get a replica of Rey Mysterio's mask.
Oh my god!
I'm getting the fuck this.
They're making video games the same price as bloody consoles now.
Yep.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But why would you buy the most expensive version of the game to play as guys you already have? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, people are like, this game is going to be great. Have you seen one lick of gameplay? No, you fucking haven't. Why would you pre-order out of the gate? I don't get that. Why?
So, but sorry, just so we understand. But Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan, not in NWO colors, they would be in that game, correct?
Yeah, they're in the game.
So you wouldn't need to have the NWO package when you've got Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan. You can just make a triple tag team and put them through together.
But here's what they're also doing, is if they've never done this before, 3 different versions of the Undertaker: Phantom of the Opera, Ministry, and current hybrid human fucking Taker are all going to be pre-order bonuses in the game. Yep, you've had this shit before. They've been in fucking games. Why? Like, I don't understand it. 2K, come on.
No, I'm not selling it, by the way. I was about to do the $1 million joke on you, but I'm not going to actually sell it, because no, the moment I sell it, there'll be something I want to play on it. So until then,
Horizon Forbidden West comes out in about a month. Just saying, that's probably the one game I actually give a fuck about.
I'm just hoping at some point there'll be a GTA 6 on my console.
Oh, I'll be dead by the time Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out.
9 years.
Probably
9
about
years
2047.
GTA 5.
Yeah.
I'll be set. 5 came out.
GTA 5 was 2013.
Hey, they've still got plenty of cash to wring out a GTA Online, so no.
That's why GTA 6 ain't coming. Yeah.
2047 is when we'll see GTA 6.
Yeah, because they're going to milk the fuck out of Grand Theft Auto 5. And they're
the fuck out of it already.
No, dude, they're going to milk the fuck out of it some more because they're re-releasing it for PS5.
I mean, it's like Skyrim. It's one of those games that's just going to keep getting re-released and re-released and re-released and re-released on every single console generation.
I was one of those motherfuckers that was like, fuck Skyrim. And then what did my dumb ass do? I went ahead and bought the fucking game because it was on sale for like $20. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll buy the goddamn game because I'm going to have to buy it at some point anyway.
But it was 10 years ago we saw trailers for fucking GTA 5. Maybe even 11 years ago even.
It goes back further than that. It goes back to like 2009. I remember seeing a trailer for GTA 5.
Yeah, because like we're talking about when it comes to these massive AAA games, there's always, especially with things like Rockstar, you guaranteed delays, and there was delays back then.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact, and it was there, and outside of Red Dead 2, it was one of their last masterpieces, and it's a shame. Rockstar they've lost their reputation for as long as December. Oh my god, we're going on a serious tangent talking.
I don't give a fuck. It's
Valve
what we
used
do.
to make good games, and Valve hasn't made shit, and God knows over a decade
all,
now.
All these companies which had good reputations, they get bought up, and then they lose that reputation. Or they rely on that reputation.
Fucking Valve, are we ever going to get Half-Life 2 episode fucking 3? We've been waiting on this shit for a long goddamn time. Like, we're still waiting on episode 3 of Half-Life 2, and that's been what, like 15 years?
We'll never get it. We'll never get Left 4 Dead 3.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anyone got any theories? Just going back to something like wrestling related. We were talking earlier about how Vince dying. Anyone got any theories on how that's going to happen?
Very sure. 1 second, Shredder. They've actually made the people who made the Left 4 Dead games made another version of it. But not.
I have it.
Free. It's
Back for Blood. Back for Blood.
Back for Blood. Yeah. So that's your like alternative.
It's fucking hard too. That's what she said. It's fucking hard. It's one of those. Right. I was playing that shit last night. I'm like, I kept fucking dying. I'm like, God damn. Even on the easiest difficulty, I just get gang fucked trying to beat these zombies. It's hard. That's what she said.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
okay.
What was your question again, Shredder?
Well, my question is: anyone got a theory on how Vince McMahon is going to die?
He's going to rage in gorilla and fucking kill over in the chair. That's the most common thing that happens.
No, Vince McMahon's going to live to a very long age. He'll be in his 90s. People live until their 90s now. It's more common for it used to be surprising that somebody was in their 90s. Not anymore.
His mom's 100.
There you go. He's going to live a long life, man. The guy is, even though he's taken only a handful of bumps in the ring.
Didn't you suggest it'll be Rikishi runs him over?
Yeah, one of you said that. It might have been Block that said it.
Yeah,
but he did it for the Rock.
Me.
Yeah, I think Block said that. I think what's going to happen is, we'll be putting him next to Katie Vick. That will be his resting place. That's where I know I'm going to want to put him.
I think it's going to be on television, but it'll be a repeat of the Don Wilson screws Al Wilson. Don Marie screws Al Wilson to death skit.
Yeah, whoever
Vince McMahon is going to die screwing a diva, and it's going to be Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Wouldn't Linda McMahon take over then?
No, Linda's gotten the fuck out of there. She's been the fuck out of there.
She's the wife. She still owns it, man. She owns it just as much as Vince does.
No, I don't think she actually has any stake in it. I think the kids do.
Sure, she has. As far as I'm aware, Vince has said repeatedly that when he dies, it's going to be split evenly between Shane and Stephanie.
Yeah, and the ones that are going to be running it are Big Nose and the wife. They're going to be the ones running the day-to-day shit.
Well, in fairness, look at NXT. I think I would rather have Triple H running it.
Yeah, I mean, Triple H would be the ideal person to run it. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but at least he's a proper wrestler.
And as fucked up as this may sound, this is payback, Triple H, you motherfucker. This is payback for you, Barry and Booker T at WrestleMania 19. That's why Vince took NXT away from you. You fucking bastard. Yeah.
Not just Booker T, so many wrestlers, you know what I mean? My goodness.
RVD, Goldberg. Well, yeah, Goldberg, you could argue. Scott Steiner, although Scott Steiner looked winded.
Scott Steiner Scott Steiner deserved it.
Scott Steiner looked winded like 5 minutes into the match.
Yeah, he became a mid carder straight after that. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it's still, if anyone needs to run it, it needs to be him, and it would be nice to see some when he finally let go of the reins with it be whilst he's alive or when he passes away. It'll be really good to see where the business goes without him.
If it's still going to be around, because we don't know. I mean, like you said, I think it's going to go back to smaller arenas. I think we're going to go back to 93, 94 venues.
Hey, well, guys, if WWE disappears, it means MLW has a chance to be a major player.
Oh, yeah, let's get into that, because we know you know about this shit, and I know Dick about this lawsuit. What the fuck is going on, Shredder?
Okay, Major League Wrestling, Court Bauer is bringing a lawsuit against WWE. He's claiming, among other he's essentially claiming that WWE has held his promotion down. They've sabotaged his company.
How?
He claims that they sabotaged TV deals with likes of Vice, with Fox. He claims that WWE have been interfering with the contracts of wrestlers. There's a number of ridiculous claims that Court Bauer is making, some of which may have some credibility to them. I mean, for example, he says that MLW were going to do a deal with Vice. He's dragged Vice into this lawsuit as well, because Vice did Dark Side of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
He's claiming that as being original wrestling content influenced by WWE in this lawsuit. Now, that's a lot of horseshit, which we all know, because Dark Side of the Ring have had no clearance from WWE for any of their content.
Mm-mm.
Why in the hell would WWE say, we're more than happy for you to do this show talking about what a piece of shit that the Ultimate Warrior is, the fact that we've been exploiting him for Gay Pride Month or holding him up as, this grandiose moral character.
Yep, we whitewashed this motherfucker too.
Yeah, we whitewashed his history. So yeah, we're more than happy for you to bring up all the shitty things he did in the past. We're more than happy for you to talk about things like the Chris Benoit murder-suicide. We're more than happy for you to talk about Owen Hart falling to his death on our watch.
Can you imagine if fucking WWE gave the okay to this, they would have gone out of business just on this deal alone.
Absolutely. But I mean, MLW has pretty much, not MLW, Dark Side of the Ring has pretty much no budget for getting things like the footage of guys who were involved in pro wrestling. A lot of the subjects, they've not been able to get the footage, hence why they've had actors going in and doing, all these little dark recreations.
I like that. I actually prefer that, by the way.
Yeah, I do too.
I actually did quite enjoy it too.
Yeah, I much prefer that.
But again, Court Bauer was claiming that Vice and Dark Side of the Ring were working with WWE, which is not true. That's in his lawsuit. MLW were apparently going to do a one-off pilot for Vice, and I think the deal did fall through. But Court Bauer is claiming it's because WWE tampered with the contract. I think Court Bauer wants to paint the picture that this is like the old days of when Vince put the territories out of business, where he would go to Minnesota, he would go speak to the local TV companies there with a briefcase full of money saying, here, take AWA off and put WWF programming on instead. When it just doesn't happen.
Okay, we got the bird's thoughts on this. Yep.
Yeah, she wants food.
Yep.
But yeah, he's making claims that WWE interfered with contracts with Vice, with a number of streaming services, with Fox, and he again.
Fox. Oh, Court. What kind of weed you smoking, man?
But Court's making other claims. Now, two of the claims he might actually have something on. One is that WWE is blocking promotions from running certain arenas, which
I believe.
That's probably true because remember, Sinclair had to get involved to get Ring of Honor into Madison Square Garden for the big New Japan show.
And Vince said nope, because I remember when that happened. Yep.
And it was Sinclair Broadcasting Group's lawyers that had to get involved in that one. And that's the only reason WWE backed down.
Yep.
So he might have something there. I don't think he's got anything where he said, I mean, he's trying to claim that WWE has a complete monopoly on pro wrestling. Might have been true about 6-7 years ago, but you can't claim that when AEW exists. Ring of Honor is still owned by Sinclair. It is coming back apparently in April. And you've got promotions like the National Wrestling Alliance and Impact.
Yeah. It'd be scary if Vince was the only one that owned wrestling, and for a time he did.
For a time. I mean, again, if you were to make that claim about 6-7 years ago, then yeah, probably would have had some merit. But no, this isn't the case. I mean, you know, how can you claim a monopoly when AEW exists and they're offering similar, if not better, contracts to wrestlers than Vince McMahon is?
Yep, and they can work indie dates too.
Exactly.
That's not something you could say Vince do, because Vince won't allow that shit. That's a rarity for him to allow his guys to go to work indie shows.
He got upset that fucking Undertaker went on the autograph signing, and it wasn't to do with the WWE, and he just lost
Yep, I remember that.
What was the name of that tour? It was
Starcade or Starcast.
No, it wasn't Starcast. It was Inside the Ropes.
Oh yeah, yep.
It was Inside the Ropes who were doing it. He was supposed to be doing a tour of the UK.
And Vince was like, "Nope, petty fucking bastard."
So, there's accusations that WWE have been interfering with the contracts of wrestlers. WWE apparently has been obtaining data regarding the contracts of guys who are under contract to MLW. Now, MLW is a glorified indie. Jim Cornette at one point was the highest paid talent on their roster when he was working for them as a commentator.
Damn.
Yeah. I think that's how Tony Khan was able to snap up MJF and not only get him, but buy him out of his his MLW contract when AEW was going to go full time.
Yeah, good luck winning this one.
He also got the Lucha Brothers that way too. Now, there's two possibilities with regard to contracts being disclosed. One is the wrestlers themselves have been talking, saying, "Hey, I'm not satisfied getting what I'm getting." Or the other possibility, if there has been any contract interference, it's Bruce Pritchard.
Yep.
Because Bruce Pritchard was working for MLW at one point. He goes back to WWE, and that's apparently when MLW wrestlers were getting getting contacted at least about breaking contracts and trying to get out their deals so they could sign with WWE.
Holy guacamole, mole. Look at that mo.
The thing is, right, when it comes to because Bauer claims that one person on his roster approached him and wanted out the contract specifically to go sign with WWE. There's only one name I can actually think of that would apply to, but they didn't sign with WWE. They were at the Performance Center briefly, but they didn't sign with WWE, and they're still in the Indies today. And somebody I think Tony Khan should snap up. I won't mention their name purely because I don't want to potentially libel somebody with regard to this active court case. That's if it gets to court. Sorry,
Liam.
Greetings, humanoid.
But yeah, so again, there's potential there. If Bruce Pritchard is discovered to have interfered with contracts, that might be something that they wind up with an out-of-court settlement on if it gets that far.
Mo.
Yeah. But again, with the exception of, I'm just looking over my notes here, but I think with the exception of the whole case about WWE blocking certain arenas, and if there's anything regarding Bruce Pritchard interfering with contracts,
he's going to get his ass kicked in court. That's pretty much all that tells you.
Yeah, I think Court Bauer's going to lose and lose badly, especially when you look at who's representing both sides.
Oh yeah, speaking of,
WWE has got Jerry McDevitt.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, because he also
Court Bauer's lawyers are the ex-lawyers for Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly. I wish I would make this up. It's the same law firm that represented Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly.
So they're good at dealing with, representing sleazebags.
I mean, this is probably going to wind up exactly like the concussion lawsuit. It's
Yeah.
just going to get thrown out. Or the lawsuit that I know Raven was involved with, where he was trying to get wrestlers recognized as employees rather than independent contractors. Again, I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it.
Court Bauer is absolutely delusional bringing this lawsuit, for one.
Yeah, he's going to get his ass kicked in court for real.
It's a glorified indie. There's no way they are going to win this case.
Yeah, if they do, hell will freeze over and pigs will start to fly, I promise.
I mean, there's a couple of guys they've got under contract who I've said before Tony Khan should open the checkbook up and get. I mean, Alexander Hammerstone, Jacob Fatu, sign those guys. But a lot of the MLW contract is making, what, $200, $300 a night?
Yeah.
They're not making jack shit.
And chances are they're going to end up going the Paul Heyman route where money will start draining like a motherfucker if you're not careful.
Well, Liam says Johnny Cochran couldn't win this case for MLW.
Ain't that the truth?
Good old Johnny Cochran.
If Penta's glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah. Glove don't fit, you must have quit. Ooh. And then the motherfucker breaks into a museum or whatever and tries to take his own shit back. Goes to jail for it. What a fucking moron.
God. Johnny Cochran. He was in bloody Lethal Weapon 4 as well. I couldn't believe it. Anyway. So what's next?
Forget Johnny Cochran. Get Clarence Mason on the case.
Yeah, for real.
He'd probably do a better job. Well, Clarence Mason was an actual lawyer, so get him on the case. He'd probably do a better job than Bill O'Reilly's ex-lawyer.
And here's a fun tad of trivia for y'all. All those people, when they were in the Nation of Domination in the early days, a lot of those dudes were Clarence Mason's fraternity brothers from college in the ring.
Well, that's something I didn't know.
Yep, that's a fun fact of trivia. A lot of those dudes that you saw on the bow ties and shit were, his fraternity brothers.
I just thought it was a bunch of guys that they hired just purely to look the part of, like, Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Yep, I thought that too. But D'Lo revealed, like, on a table for three, was like, yeah, Clarence, those were all his, like, brothers from college. I'm like, yeah, you learn something new every day.
I just started thinking about Floyd Mayweather's entourage when they started fighting with the wrestlers and they just got carried away. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. And that was the WrestleMania I went to, by the way. That was between Floyd Mayweather and
Big
Show. Yeah. So, anyways, so what's next, guys?
Is there any other topics? I don't know. I thought we pretty much got everything. Well, who's going to win the Royal Rumble before we go? Because I know we're 2 weeks away, so we got to start talking about it.
We spoke about this the other day, and 2 years ago it was Drew McIntyre. So we had somebody new, break somebody new into the business and make and give them that killer push. And then last year we had somebody who was established in Edge. So I think this year we're going to get a new guy, in my opinion, someone to push to the moon. Who would that be? I don't fucking know, but I don't watch this shit anymore. What about you guys?
I'm calling it Mansoor.
Oh,
for real?
shit.
Are you taking the piss?
I'm taking the
piss. I can't tell, man. Fucking hell. I don't watch this shit anymore. At one point, if you told somebody, a couple of years ago that Drew McIntyre was going to win the fucking Royal Rumble,
I would have laughed in your face if you would have told me that.
Remember, Cody Rhodes is apparently a free agent.
That's another thing we could talk about.
Maybe it'll be the glorious return of Stardust.
No, man. It's got to be babyface Cody Rhodes coming out, ending racism, one tear-filled promo at a time.
Hold on. Cody Rhodes is pretty much like part of the furniture at AEW. How the fuck did he end up being a free agent?
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where they didn't sign him to a new deal, I guess.
Yeah, apparently his contract has run out and they're still negotiating, so he's working on a per appearance deal.
Yep. So he could go back to WWE for a one-off if he wanted to. They got Mickey, for fuck's sake. So why not mention AEW? I dare them to get Cody and mention AEW. I fucking dare them to do it.
I think that could be part of the plan of AEW to have Cody go back maybe for a one-off. For especially with Royal Rumble around the corner. And you know how they love throwing in the odd retro guy, the odd legend.
Oh yeah, I have a side tangent I need to go off before we go. But go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Okay, WWE. Stop fucking announcing who's going to be in the goddamn Royal Rumble. Stop doing that shit. They've been doing that shit for like the past month. Like Sheamus is qualified for the Royal Rumble. The Street Profits have qualified for the Royal Rumble. Ali, before he decided to get the fuck out, is qualified for the Royal Rumble. They're doing that shit where they're like, you just qualify for the Royal Rumble because you can qualify for the Royal Rumble. Stop that shit.
You know what?
Kills the element of the match type.
I would love like a proper established tag team where one of the wrestlers from that tag team won the Royal Rumble.
They've never done that before, I don't think.
That would be a really good spin on things.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the closest I've ever seen anything like that was when Edge and Christian were still a tag team champions and Edge became Intercontinental champion, I believe.
Yeah, and then Christian got jealous.
And he won King of the Ring the same year as well.
Yeah, he was all like, fuck this, and then he turned on Edge, and then Christian joined the Alliance, and no one remembered that because fuck the Alliance.
I mean, the writing was on the wall for that, but I would love to see a tag team wrestler win the Royal Rumble. That would be awesome. He's going to throw the TNT title in the trash can and hit Cena overhead to eliminate him.
That's another thing. Cena's not going to be at WrestleMania 38 this year. Fuck that. He's going Hollywood. He's doing a kick-ass job in Peacemaker right now.
Oh man, Cena is are you watching Peacemaker at all, Shredder?
No, I haven't seen it.
He's so good.
Dude, I'm just gonna say this. It is so fucking weird hearing Cena say fuck and swear. It is so weird.
And Cena is swearing. He's fucking. He's doing drugs.
Yeah, for real.
I mean,
literally, the only thing I've seen about Peacemaker was that
stealing.
meme you shared about Peacemaker's dad being the same as that guy Gary Beekler from Nerd, whatever the hell it was, Nerd Rotic, and Man Bear Pig from Quartering.
Because his dad is the White Dragon, who is a supervillain racist in the comics, and so that's who his dad is in this, and look, I'm not surprised. I mean, I remember what Cena was like before he became like the face of the company. I remember his rap album as well, which had swearing in it too.
Yeah,
you know, and all of that.
And back then, it wasn't weird to hear him cuss, but then now you hear him and you're like, you think this is a brand new fucking John Cena? Like you would think, like, oh my god, like he's swearing and shit. And this is as close to a heel turn as we're ever gonna get. I swear to God.
I've always said, if you want heel John Cena, you'll get him in Hollywood because he's played like roles where you think to yourself, he's acting very heelish. You know, he's looking he looks a bit upset and angry all the fucking time, and so that's about as close as you're gonna get as a heel turn regarding John Cena. But it's just so good to see him in this. And when I was watching like the first few episodes of Peacemaker, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is Vince McMahon gonna do? Like, if you can't bring back John Cena as Fruity Pebbles after he's been, saying the F word multiple times, and you see him naked, having sex with a naked woman, on the screen, even though it's only for about 2 or 3 seconds.
Freedom!
and then he's having a threesome with Vigilante and that bird that girl he walked into.
Yeah.
In that one episode, and they're like smoking weed afterwards and stuff like that. Like
you've got to start watching Peacemaker. It's fucking hilarious.
Vince, how are you gonna make him Fruity Pebbles again, Vince? You can't.
I swear to God, if he ever goes back and they come to Colorado and he's gonna be there, I will start a Peacemaker chant. I will be one of those motherfuckers that do it too.
And the funny thing is, Johnson has probably been dying to do this. I mean, he's a professional. I give him that. He's very talented, very talented man, and born to be an entertainer. But this is so liberating for him, in my opinion. You can just tell he's having the time of his life, and I personally would rather see him on my television screen than I would want to see him in a wrestling ring. I think I've had enough of Cena as a wrestler. Do this now, mate. Do this.
Okay,
maybe the odd appearance, but do this.
As much as Shredder's going to hate this, the guy that actually now can talk, Brock Lesnar, is going to win the Royal Rumble. He's going to win.
Brock Lesnar can talk. I've always said Brock Lesnar can talk. He's talking.
You got to start watching his babyface stuff, dude. He's been going.
I've watched him cut promos now, and is he in the Rumble this year?
They're doing a title match, but I thought he was defending as Bobby Lashley. But you know how they do that shit when like when a guy loses a match, they put him in the fucking Rumble anyway. Remember when they did that like 10 years ago?
Yeah,
they're gonna do
They've
that
done
again.
that so many
But,
times.
but that's why I'm thinking seriously, in all seriousness, I'm thinking maybe it'll be Bobby Lashley or Big E.
Yeah, it'll be Bobby Lashley, Big E, or Brock Lesnar. Any one of those guys are going to win the Royal Rumble.
Women's Rumble. I've got a horrible feeling it's
yes.
Yeah,
2003.
2003 was when he won it. Who was the last guy he eliminated? Was it
Undertaker?
The Undertaker?
Yeah. Undertaker. And they made that so obvious that Brock was going to win too, because like they had Kurt Angle fuck him, and Brock got suspended, and then Kurt Angle
had to win a qualifying match, so the actual pay-per-view to get in.
Yep, they made that so obvious that Brock was going to win the title at WrestleMania, and the main event was supposed to be Stone Cold and The Rock, but Stone Cold had to spend the night in the hospital due to drinking too much horse shit and getting dehydrated.
I remember back then, in Brock Lesnar's first run, he made Undertaker his bitch. You know what I mean? He really did. Undertaker was lying down for him like he was fucking working on the red light district.
And when no sold to Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
I vaguely remember that. I mean, I remember he was like selling a broken arm or some shit like that, wasn't he?
No, they told the story afterwards about Lesnar selling a broken rib and coughing up blood.
Yep, and they didn't do any of that shit. Like, he just came out the next night like, come on, Big Show, you motherfucker. I'm going to fight you. And he beat the piss out of the Big Show for real. Like, Brock, that was probably the most badass Brock that we saw at that point, when he beat the fuck out of the Big Show.
Was it
at that point? And then he returned and beat the fuck out of Cena, and holy crap.
Mm-hmm. That was...
No, but
that was an eye-opener.
When he beat the shit out of Big Show, he threw the stairs at him, and it stabbed his arm.
Yeah, and then he fucking hit him, and then he fucking hit him square in the dome with that chair.
I gave so much respect to Big Show after that, because that was a serious injury.
Yeah,
a serious injury.
Yeah.
He took, and he was still having to sell a beating after that. I did not like the fact that when Brock Lesnar came back, he beat the shit out of John Cena just for Cena to win.
Yeah,
that was the worst result possible, but it would have just made sense for Lesnar to destroy Cena.
I think they were going with the you got to do business bullshit. Like, okay, you're back, but you got to do the job now.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they did that with John Cena. It was bullshit. But at least Brock got to get his redemption and kick Cena's ass a couple years later with like 17 suplexes. Back when Brock's suplexes used to look devastating as shit. Now he's kind of softened up a little bit. But yeah, Brock can actually talk, and they're going to go with the obvious route of like, oh, okay, Heyman is aligned with Lesnar. And what I would do is I would have Lesnar actually be aware of this. Like, I know you're going to betray me, you motherfucker. I know it's going to happen because you've done it once before. So I'm not going to let my guard down this time because I know you have a man crush on Roman Reigns. And that is where I think they're going to go. I think you're going to get Brock versus Roman for one of the fucking belts at WrestleMania.
Oh, God, what a boring fucking match that is.
Yeah, they've done it before.
Unless they actually go with the whole story of Brock and Reigns. Sorry, Lesnar and Reigns at WrestleMania to unify the belts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then speaking of, okay, this goddamn brand split, are we ending it? Are we not ending it? What the fuck are we doing with this?
I mean, what is the point of the brand split when guys are just showing up on both shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing that for years in previous brand splits. And the thing is, they do a brand split, then they bring everyone back together again just to do another brand split and stuff like that. What made it really special back in the day was when Brock first fought Goldberg, they were both on different shows, and it felt really special that they were fighting each other, and they made it happen. When Angle fought Shawn Michaels, they were both on different shows.
Because it used to be when they initially did the brand split, it was a case of the only people who could go between shows were people who held belts.
Yep.
So the world champion could go between shows, the tag champion could go between shows, the IC champion could go between shows.
Yeah, and then I think the hardcore champion stayed on Raw because it never showed on SmackDown.
Hardcore title stayed on Raw. The cruiserweight stayed on SmackDown. The women's title, I know, the women's champion was able to move between brands. Yeah, except there wasn't really a women's division on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. And then they stopped that shit, and then they decided, okay, now we're going to make our things exclusive. And for the first few years, it worked. And then around 2010, I think, is when they started fucking everything up. because everyone just went everywhere.
If I ran the company, I would make sure for a start that when I'm doing like the draft and you're changing shows, I wouldn't change so many wrestlers that you pretty much change everyone who was on Raw onto SmackDown and vice versa, because that's what ends up happening. They have two drafts, the one's on TV and the one you see on the website. That shit really pisses me off. You pretty much changed everybody over from one show to the other, so you're not really mixing anything up. But secondly, I would make sure fundamentally that both shows rarely acknowledge each other. Like Raw is Raw, SmackDown is SmackDown. All these, very rarely the odd crossover to really make it feel special.
And here's what I would do. I would make, and I know people are going to hate this, but y'all will get where I'm going. Raw would be the sports entertainment show because it's always been the sports entertainment show. SmackDown would be where you go to watch your wrestling. SmackDown would be where you would get guys going out there busting ass like the SmackDown 6.
Yeah, I would have said that. I would have said that, but now both shows are live.
Yeah,
they're both sports entertainment now. They're pretty much a mirror of each other.
Yeah,
When SmackDown was a recorded show, you could do that, but it's really difficult to do that now. Now they're both live.
Well, you gotta, if you're gonna make both brands different, you gotta make one stand out. You gotta make one like have at least a little. You gotta make one different. Like I think SmackDown should be the wrestling
different,
show.
But I wouldn't necessarily make one stand out more than the other. You want them both to stand out.
Yeah,
make them different. Have a decent crop of wrestlers on one and then the other, but just keep them apart as much as fucking possible. Maybe once or twice a year do they acknowledge each other for that little special moment. And that's what but that people love a crossover. But if you do it every fucking week, it's bollocks, isn't it?
And this is what you need to do is make sure that the draft is probably. I would say put the draft immediately after WrestleMania, the day after.
Yep, that's your new season premiere.
For the simple reason, the last draft wasn't that like 2 weeks before the Survivor Series,
and they've completely fucked it up. Yep.
So I mean, why are people proud to be fighting for SmackDown when they've only been on the brand for 2 weeks?
Yeah, for real. Because literally, that's the funny thing about Survivor Series was literally everyone but I think one guy on both teams were on the previous show the week before. And they all are like, yay, SmackDown pride. Yay, Raw pride. Woo. And it meant fucking nothing.
And I only draft maybe 6 or 7 wrestlers max. Even that sounds a lot, to tell you the truth.
I remember in the old SmackDown. I remember in the old SmackDown game, you could draft up to 10, and you had to be real careful with who you picked. That's what I would do, and I would also have the announcers take shots at each other. Like I'd be like, "This motherfucker on Raw can't call a match for shit." Like this is why we're the best brand. Like they used to do shit like that. I remember even before the draft, like in Survivor Series 01, it was arguably JR and Heyman's best pay-per-view they ever called together because both guys were taking shots at each other because it was either going to be the WWF or the Alliance. And then the funniest damn thing is Jericho's about to come out, Heyman goes, "Oh, Jim, you're real funny for an unemployed guy." And Jim fires back without missing a beat. "Jim Cornette could replace you tomorrow night."
I remember that.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's the type of shit that I would do. Like I would just have the announcers just dig. That would be so cool if they did shit like that.
The sort of shit they did with Cena, though, like obviously when he fought Rey Mysterio after he won the WWE title the same night, that sort of shit pisses me off. But I also remember he got drafted to SmackDown and then he one more draft and he got drafted back to Raw again.
Yeah.
Or you had scenarios where 1 year Triple H got drafted to SmackDown. So Eric Bischoff, in order to get him back, he traded both the Dudleys, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam.
Yep. Although, in fairness, for Booker T, it did fucking work. Because Booker T, as a heel, it did work for a little bit until he found King Booker.
Yeah, but it kind of shits on all 4 of those guys to say that Triple H is worth more than you 4 put together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right then, fellas. Any more to talk about before we close things up?
When are we coming back? I think 2 weeks from now we have to come back because it's Rumble preview time. So you guys got to start watching this shit. As do I, which kind of sucks because I really don't fucking want to.
Well, hang on. We'll need to apologize next week if we.
Oh yeah, we have to apologize if we take. Sorry, Bubba. We're sorry. Yeah, we apologize.
So make sure we'll make sure we get our tweet sent to Bully Ray apologizing to him.
Yep, we apologize.
Well, look, next Friday is Rumble Eve. And by
Is it?
then, I'm sure.
Actually, no. Rumble Eve is going to be the 28th, so we got like 2 weeks to go
Yeah, it's
until
next
we
week.
got to.
This is the 22nd. So
Oh, yeah.
It's 22nd, dude.
Oh yeah, fuck. I'm tired. God
Well, it's
damn
the
it.
I think
21st
what
where
we'll
you are,
do-
but it's the 22nd here. And
Where
Rumble,
you guys are.
Yeah.
would
So
be
next Friday is gonna be the Royal Rumble, so we got to start brushing up on this shit.
Yeah,
Son of a
exactly.
bitch.
So let's brush up on as much Rumble knowledge as we can. We'll be talking about the upcoming Rumble as well as the previous ones, and what I guess will be eventually leading up to WrestleMania.
As long as we
know,
don't have to watch Raw this Monday, because goddamn, I'm not doing that. I'm not sitting through 3 hours of this bullshit. That ain't happening. I'm not doing
Don't
that.
worry, nobody watches Raw this Monday,
Yeah.
or any Monday, so don't worry about that. But yeah, nevertheless, next week we'll be back here talking about the Royal Rumble, probably the most popular pay-per-view of all 4 Grand Slam pay-per-views, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Would you say that? A lot of people, by the way, as we're going to mention the Rumble, people say that SummerSlam is bigger than the Royal Rumble.
Get the fuck out of
my
here.
Nuts.
Yeah, get the
Suck
fuck
my
out of
nuts.
here. That
Royal
ain't
Rumble
it.
is the second biggest pay-per-view, in my opinion, because of its relationship with WrestleMania.
I would
I don't
even
know
go
why
so
people-
far as to say it's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. This is the one I actually look forward to the most.
Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. Regarding personal favorite, yeah, fair enough. But
Mhm.
regarding where it stays in the pecking order, I would say Royal Rumble is the second biggest.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Survivor Series should be a lot better than what it is. In my opinion, SummerSlam should be at the bottom because it's a poor man's WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Survivor Series should be the third because of its unique concept. Unfortunately, it isn't. And there we go. Yeah, Survivor Series should be third, but they don't. That's the thing. There's a lack of respect shown by the WWE for their own product. You know, their own things. I remember previous Survivor Series how much I enjoyed them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They were so good. Like we were talking back, in the days of like where we had we're talking in the early 90s for me and stuff like that, in the late 80s, and those Survivor Series matches where you had eventually the survivors of the heels versus the survivors of the faces having one last Survivor Series match, and stuff like that. But you don't have that shit anymore.
Mm-mm.
TLC number 5. There's no number 5, dude. There's only 4.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know?
Fuck the gimmick pay-per-views too. That just needs to be said. Fuck all of them. I hate every single one.
I love gimmick pay-per-views because gimmick pay-per-views makes I like gimmick matches generally because you don't then have necessarily formulaic WWE matches.
But
it dilutes the whole concept of the gimmick match. I
mean,
it
takes the Hell in a Cell used to mean something because you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, Hell in a Cell would be once a year, maybe twice, but it was always the big blow off to a grudge.
The end is here.
So it was always the big blow off to like a proper blood feud between wrestlers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what these matches should have been. Or the ladder match again. It was something special and unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Money in the Bank was in WrestleMania, then it became its own fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I think even Hell in a Cell was like WrestleMania, and then it became its own pay-per-view.
Hell in a Cell, they used to do it like Hell in a Cell always was kind of during the summertime. I think like back in the day, like 15, Hell in a Cell used to always be in the summertime before they started this shit. At least in more recent times. Breaking Point. They did that one time. It was a submission pay-per-view.
I like the
big question is, speaking of gimmick pay-per-views, Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay, yeah. We could touch on that before we go.
Which Dave Meltzer said is only taking place because of COVID restrictions at Auschwitz.
Dave, dude.
What? What? Say that again?
Dave Meltzer put in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the Elimination Chamber was taking place in Saudi Arabia due to COVID restrictions at Auschwitz.
Why would he say something?
It was an attempt at a really bad joke. Dave Meltzer's Jewish, but it was a really fucking shit attempt at a joke.
Goldberg is Jewish. They rolled up the red carpet for him in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of, okay, he's got one more match to go. Oh God, no. I don't want to put this out in the universe. Please, God, no.
I'm going to say this right now.
Put it out.
Oh, no.
Get it off your chest.
Don't tell me Goldberg is going to be in the Royal Rumble and he fucking wins the damn thing. Please.
Reigns versus Goldberg, WrestleMania.
Goldberg will come in at number 30. But I'll tell you what, that means it'll be like the dream. It'll be Goldberg, Lashley, and Brock Lesnar in the triple threat match at WrestleMania.
No, I don't want it.
It'll be like the ultimate Brahma Bull behemoths,
Oh God.
Who do you think the Saudis are going to try and sign for the Elimination Chamber?
Why are we calling it elimination? That's kind of what I want to know. Are they really going to do that? Like, are they going to actually call it the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia? Wow. Okay.
We've had some mission only pay-per-views. I'm not a big fan of the I Quit match. It's just.
You want Hogan versus Stone Cold?
Match.
What does winner
submission only pay-per-view?
What does the winner get, AARP or something? Because Hogan would win that. Hogan would definitely win that match. Hogan would destroy Stone Cold with the greatest move in wrestling history. No one here can debate it. That doesn't work for me, bro. No, that doesn't work for me, brother. Is the greatest finishing move of all time. Period. And I won't hear anything else.
Well, it's finished a lot of guys' careers. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
He finished his career by the looks of things as well.
I'm calling it now. The Saudis for a tag team elimination chamber match. They're going to book the Radicals against the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, and I heard Yokozuna may come back. Yeah, I've heard they want Yokozuna. I've heard they want the Ultimate Warrior. The Saudi Prince. I think he's still stuck in 1995.
Remember that was World's Greatest Royal Rumble, or wherever it was called in the Saudi.
Yeah, they got the big dude.
They wanted Yokozuna. They wanted the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, but the Saudis, they weren't paying up to Vince, weren't they? I mean, like they owed Vince a lot of money and they never paid him.
Oh no, he got paid.
He got paid eventually, yeah.
Yeah, he got paid eventually, but you would have thought he would have stopped, considering he put his wrestlers' lives on the line by flying back to America and leaving his wrestlers behind like a proper leader.
Well, I think now the Saudi trip is purely voluntary.
Yeah, I think the wrestlers finally. No, Zayn and Owens are two guys you're never going to see over there. They will not go over there.
Because Zayn won't go over there because the Saudis hate people of Syrian descent, which is what Sami Zayn is. And Kevin Owens is not going to go purely out of solidarity.
Yep.
Yeah, and when Cena was still part of the roster, he only went there once and he never went back.
He went once and he refused. Daniel Bryan went once and refused.
Yep. You got a better chance of getting Rob Van Dam to go to Saudi Arabia than you do any of them.
Yeah, and Van Dam refused to go to Iraq, famously.
Yep.
Yeah, so fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Anyway, guys, all right. Well, look, when that happens, we'll be happy to talk about that too. But next week, it's all about the Rumble, baby, and I can't wait to.
I'm gonna do it.
Michael Buffer.
It's time for the Rumble. It's time for the Royal Rumble. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hacksaw Jim Duggan are all going to fight it out to see who wins the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Only this Sunday at the Royal Rumble. There we go.
What city's hosting it?
Where the fuck are they? I don't know. Let me see. Royal Rumble 2022.
I have no idea where it's being held this year myself. So
I know it's on a Saturday, which is kind of the coolest thing that they're doing. Thank God, because now it's going to free up my Sundays.
And we lost Sam.
Yeah, of course we did. He's probably like, "Yeah, fuck this. I'm going to go to sleep." Jesus Christ. Okay, where is the 2022 Royal Rumble? I have to go all the way down into Wikipedia to pull this shit up.
Sorry about that. Press the wrong button.
Yep. The things I do for you people. They don't pay me enough. All right. 2022. Blah, 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 blah. St. Louis, Missouri.
The Dome.
Yep. The Dome. Oh, yeah, because they do Dome shows now for the Rumble.
Yeah, the Dome at America Center is where it's going to be held.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Natalie, Tyson Kidd, and who? Yeah, you
Jim Neidhart. Yeah. It's a Jim Neidhart reference.
All right,
Maybe,
yeah.
might be. I have no fucking idea either, mate.
How many matches we got for this shit? Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 fucking matches to talk about. So we'll be busy.
Yeah, for sure. All right then, guys. It's been lovely talking to you. I can't wait to be back next week talking about the Royal Rumble preview.
And I
It'll be fun.
apologize that we have to take off the next 6 days, man. I mean, I apologize that I can't do this shit every day. I apologize that I live a productive life outside of this place. Bubba Ray Dudley, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Prick.
All right then. Well, okay, everyone else. Well, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We will be back again. I guarantee it with some more stuff for sure. Take care. Have a nice one. Bye bye.